Hello, this is Raging Amish, and welcome to my review of If you're wondering why I censored that, it's because the number one argument you will hear people have about this gun is how the hell do you pronounce the name? Here's the official way to say it, or I should say, the way over a dozen fans who have told me is the proper way to say it. It's called the cypress, like the tree. I've heard a lot of other ways though. Kiparis, Kiparis, take your pick. It's a pronunciation. To me, it doesn't matter, and since it's my review, I'm going to be pronouncing it the way I want to. Na. So, with that said, let's get into the Kiparis.
And here we go.
To start, the Kiparis is the classified SMG. This SMG is unique because you must purchase every other SMG to unlock this weapon. That's about where the uniqueness stops though. The rest of the stats are a wash of numbers almost identical to the stats on these guns, and are very similar to the stats on these guns. Don't believe me? Just watch and learn. The Kiparis is fully automatic. It comes with a 20 bullet magazine, has a fire rate of 937.5 RPM, does 30 to 20 damage, is a 4 to 5 hit kill by default, and a 3 to 4 hit kill if you hit the head. Blah, 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 blah. I've said all of this before at least twice. Still don't believe me? Take a look at the range drop off. It starts to drop off at 20 meters and completely drops off at 25 meters. Oh. Wait. Sorry. Wrong SMG. No. Yes. Seriously. 6 guns with the same damage drop off. This really dumbs down the variety in gameplay when you jump from SMG to SMG. Shame on you, Treyarch. I guess in the end it isn't that big a deal, because thankfully the Kiparis isn't a complete clone. While it has looked identical so far to the PM63 and the Mac 11, it does have a few small differences. To start, this is the only SMG to feature medium penetration power. You can shoot through walls without hardened, but you still won't be able to shoot through most thick barriers. Second, this SMG gets assault rifle auto-aim. I've heard the whole, it's aim assist, Amish, aim assist. To me, it's the computer helping you aim the crosshairs. Call it what you want. Point being, the Kiparis gets more help from the computer than the other SMGs. Just when the gun's about to get interesting though, everything else becomes a wash of boring stats. Let's be serious for a moment.
Why so serious?
Okay, maybe not that kind of serious, but still, none of the stats left are anything special. The gun features standard SMG crosshairs. The crosshairs are small, and you don't need steady aim. The Kiparis has a subpar aim down sight time of 0.25 seconds. Most of the other SMGs aim down the sight in 0.2 seconds, so you may feel a little sluggishness when using the weapon. Also, the gun raises in 0.65 seconds and lowers in 0.45 seconds. Both are relatively decent times, but I honestly didn't notice them. Not trying to be lazy by saying that, I just really didn't feel anything special. To help make up for some of the lackluster stats, the weapon comes with decent reload times. The weapon reloads in 2.1 seconds if the weapon is not empty, and 2.65 seconds if the gun is empty. In both cases, the magazine enters the weapon at the 1.3 second mark.
I like that.
While these reload times are nice, sleight of hand or extended mags is, well, mandatory. The weapon's magazine is small, meaning you'll be constantly reloading. Speaking of constantly doing something, I'm about to yet again repeat myself from the Mac 11 and PM63 reviews. Up next is the recoil profile. Tell me, does this look familiar? 60, 60, 10, 20. It's on 4 SMGs and 4 assault rifles. Shame, Treyarch. Shame. One thing that stands out in the recoil, though, is how low the center speed is. It comes in at 1400. That's pretty bad, and actually gives the gun a decent amount of kick. The recoil profile may be low, but trust me, this gun's gonna move on ya. Thankfully though, the extra aim assist I mentioned earlier does help negate some of this. Also helping to balance out the poor recenter speed is the irons. Personally, I gotta admit, if there's one thing I like about this gun, it's the irons. I think they're smexy. Very smexy. I don't know why, I just like them. The gun may not have good stats, but Man, do I love these irons. It's a good thing the weapon has decent irons too, because the attachment slot is pretty much spoken for thanks to the tiny magazine. So with that said, let's get into the attachments. Extended mags. I could argue this attachment is mandatory. I won't say it is, but if you're not going to use sleight of hand, you had better include this in your class setup.
We wouldn't want to make things too easy now, would we?
You up your mag size to 30 rounds, and you effectively negate the weapon's primary weakness. Strongly consider this attachment if you are going to use the Kiparis. ACOG sight. Woo! Man, this one's a stinker. It lowers the center speed to 1100. No. Just say no. Red dot sight, reflex sight. I don't like these attachments on this weapon. I can understand if you don't like the irons, but these attachments just don't bring enough to the table. This is one of those weapons where you pick attachments to help negate the weaknesses rather than accentuate the strengths, so choosing a sight isn't a smart choice in my opinion. Grip.
Well, hello, beautiful.
Mandatory. Flat out mandatory. The grip ups the center speed by 200 instead of 100, meaning the Kiparis reaches 1600 total. The weapon becomes much more manageable kick-wise. This is my preferred attachment, and I will admit I did tend to warlord this with extended mags. Dual wield. Oh man, how do I put it? It's nice to have a good laugh every once in a while. A lot of people argue with me about my feelings towards dual wield, but I'm sorry. On this one, the crosshairs are gigantic, and while you do have a second gun, it does you no good since you can't hit anything with either of them. Suppressor. Sadly, there's no room for this attachment. The stealth bonuses are nice, but I have a hard time arguing for it. You're welcome to try it out, and hey, kudos to you if you like this version of the weapon. I just didn't think it fit the gun well. I prefer the Spectre if I'm going to use a suppressed SMG. Rapid fire. Good lord, the kick is high with this attachment. Hope you're not planning on hitting anything. Fire rate hits 1,250 RPM and the center speed is 1,400. Might as well send a banner to your opponent saying, oh, how do I put this? Heath, help me out here.
I don't want to kill you.
I found the only way I could use this was to warlord it with the grip. The kick is more manageable, but the reloads are constant and painful. Choose another SMG if you want to use this attachment. With the attachments done, now it's time for the perks. If you haven't already guessed the blue perk, I'll give you a clue. It's the same one I recommended for the other 20 round mag SMGs. Choose Scavenger. You only get 80 starting rounds. With low damage, 80 rounds won't get you far. For the red perk, it's down to sleight of hand with the grip, or warlord with the grip and extended mags. Anything else is a bit of a gamble, at least to me. For the green perk, I recommend Hacker. The reason I choose Hacker is because since the weapon has extra penetration compared to the other SMGs, you want to take advantage of it and actually shoot through walls and hit equipment that you can see. You'll be surprised how many battles this will help you win. That concludes my review of the Kiparis. I'm sorry if I seemed moody or pissed off about the review. I'm really not. I just resent that Treyarch included so little diversity in the SMGs. Would it have been so hard to have different recoil profiles, different fire rates, or possibly some weapon range variety? The similarity between the SMGs really takes away from the character of the weapon category as a whole. I just don't like what Treyarch did. Feel free to try out the Kiparis if you want. I like the weapon, but it quickly gets old. Eventually, the kick overbears the sexiness of the irons, making the gun more annoying than anything else. It's not oozy bad, but it's certainly nothing spectacular either. Take a look at it sometime. It may bring something to the table that you like. That concludes my review of the Kiparis and the SMGs. I hope you join me next time where I'll be covering the lethal grenades. And also be rejoicing that the SMGs are over with. 10 SMGs. Jesus, that was a lot. Thank God there's not another weapon category like that. Oh, come on!
In a limousine.